Chosen one, listen carefully. Heaven has paused your steps for this moment. And nothing in your life is accidental. You are not scrolling here by chance. You are here because the hand of God has marked you, separated you, and set you apart. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to blend into the crowd. Even now, you can feel that truth pressing against your spirit like a fire that refuses to be hidden. Since your earliest days, the world has whispered that you don't belong, and you thought it was rejection. But the rejection was redirection. Every closed door was God's way of steering you away from the counterfeit path and positioning you for destiny. You have felt unseen, unheard, maybe even overlooked. But listen, heaven never overlooked you. You have been written into a story older than time itself. Chosen one, do you remember those nights when you cried silently into your pillow, asking why life felt so heavy? The reason is simple. You are carrying something others cannot bear. You are carrying destiny. It is like a sealed scroll placed into your hands, too weighty for casual hearts, too sacred for careless spirits. This is why the storms came against you early. Why attacks found you when you were most vulnerable. Darkness always detects the light before people do. Let me tell you the story of another chosen one. Imagine a young man living in silence, always misunderstood. He dreamed of doing something great, but was constantly told he was too quiet, too weak, too unworthy. For years he hid his light, convinced his voice didn't matter. But in his hidden season, God was shaping him. He let him walk through loneliness, not as punishment, but as preparation. And then one day, his voice broke open like a trumpet, and the very thing people said was small became the fire that set others free. His name may never be written in history books, but in heaven, he is known as a warrior who did not bow. That same fire is in you. You have survived things that should have destroyed you. The betrayals, the losses, the nights of silence, they were not wasted. They were chisels in the hand of the Master, carving you into a vessel strong enough to carry glory. Some people collapse under what you've carried, but you endured. And because of that, you are still here. Hear me. Your awakening begins now. This is not a time to sleep through your calling. This is not a time to blend into the noise of the crowd. This is a divine summons. The Spirit of God is pressing upon your heart with urgency. No more delay. No more doubting. Your time has come. According to what is revealed in the book of Proverbs, chapter 19, verse 21, many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails. This is your anchor. People may have tried to define you. Circumstances may have tried to crush you. Your own plans may have failed again and again. But the Lord's purpose is unshakable. His hand is still on you, and His design cannot be erased. Picture yourself as a hidden arrow inside a quiver. For years, it felt like you were stored away, unseen, forgotten. But the archer has not abandoned you. He has been waiting for the right moment, the perfect timing, and when He releases you, you will fly straight into the heart of your purpose with precision. Now is the moment to respond. Do not let these words pass by like background noise. This is your confirmation. Heaven has stopped you here to tell you the truth about who you are. You are chosen. You are not forgotten. You are not weak. You are not invisible. You are the one marked to rise. So, I invite you now, If this word has pierced your heart, if you know heaven is speaking directly to you, declare it boldly. Like, share, and comment below. Let the world know, I am chosen, I am rising, I am ready. And subscribe so you never miss another prophetic word spoken over your life. This is your moment to align, to say yes, to step fully into the calling that has been waiting for you. The awakening begins now. Comment the number 144 as a prophetic sign that you are stepping into the company of those set apart and sealed for God's divine mission. And let this sink in deeply. Every breath you take from this moment forward is a reminder your story isn't over. The author has not put down his pen. The next chapter begins with your courage, with your obedience, with your decision to rise. You are chosen, and nothing can change that. You have been marked since birth. The evidence has always been there. But for years you could not fully understand it. Even as a child, you felt a weight on your shoulders that others around you did not carry. You noticed things differently. You felt things more deeply, while others laughed without a care. You asked questions about meaning, about life, about why your heart felt so restless. That restlessness was not weakness, it was the whisper of eternity calling you home. Every rejection you faced was proof. Think back to the friendships that never lasted, the opportunities that slipped away just when you thought you were close. At the time, it seemed cruel. You wondered if you were cursed, if you were destined to always be the outsider. But no, what you thought was rejection was actually heaven's protection. You were never meant to fit into shallow circles. Because your spirit was designed for deeper waters, some of your earliest memories carry the sting of isolation. You may remember standing in a room full of people and still feeling completely alone. You may recall trying to explain the fire in your heart, only to be met with blank stares or mocking laughter. This is what it means to be chosen. You are misunderstood because your identity is not rooted in the applause of people. It is rooted in the call of God. Consider Joseph, the young dreamer in Genesis. He shared his vision of greatness, only to be betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and left to suffer in places he did not deserve. His own family rejected him, yet the rejection was the very road that carried him into Egypt, where his destiny would unfold. Without betrayal, there would have been no throne. Without the pit, there would have been no palace. Your story carries the same rhythm. What looked like defeat was only a disguised doorway. There is something sacred about being set apart. It hurts, yes, but it also refines. Like gold in the fire, you are stripped of impurities in order to shine brighter. Those who live ordinary lives cannot comprehend the kind of weight you carry. The invisible crown resting on your head long before it is revealed to the world. The enemy saw it before anyone else did. That is why the battles started early. Have you ever noticed how some people drift easily through life? Yet your journey has been marked by resistance. Doors slam, storms rise, attacks seem relentless. That is not random. It is recognition. Hell does not waste resources on those who pose no threat. The fact that you have been fought so hard is evidence that you carry something dangerous to darkness. You were marked before the foundation of the world, and the mark is visible in the spirit realm. You are like a rare seed planted in hidden soil. On the surface, it appears nothing is happening, but beneath the ground, roots are spreading. Foundations are strengthening. The delay is not denial, it is preparation. If the seed were exposed too soon, it would die in the heat. The waiting season is a mercy. Even when it feels like punishment, think of Moses, set apart at birth, hidden in a basket, raised in a palace, but never truly belonging. His life carried the mark of divine interruption from the beginning. He fled into the wilderness, thinking his story was over. But God was only preparing him to return with fire and authority. In the same way, the wilderness seasons of your life have not been wasted. They are classrooms where heaven teaches you resilience, patience, and faith. And then there is the story of David, anointed as king when he was still a shepherd boy. Forgotten even by his father when the prophet came looking, no one saw him as significant, but God did. The oil did not fall on his brothers. It found him. You, too, are like David. Others may have overlooked you, but the anointing found you anyway. As it is written in the book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 6, "You will be for me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation." This is why you cannot compare your journey to anyone else's. Your path is not measured by speed or success. It is measured by alignment with the one who called you. While others chase crowds and recognition, you are being trained in obscurity. While they gather applause, you are gathering depth. And when the appointed time comes, your unveiling will not be small. Remember this, the mark on your life is not a burden. It is a seal. It is heaven's signature over your destiny. You were set apart for such a time as this. The world may not understand you, but it will be transformed by the light you carry. The weight you carry has never been ordinary. It has been heavy, at times almost unbearable. And yet you are still standing. That alone is proof that you are not just surviving, you are being prepared. Many cannot see the depth of what you've endured because so much of it was hidden. Silent battles, quiet tears, nights where you spoke to no one. But heaven heard every whisper. The truth is, you have carried more than most people could ever imagine. While others broke down under pressure, you kept moving. While others questioned their worth, you kept holding on, even if only by a thread. That thread, fragile as it felt, was woven from divine strength. The fact that you are here listening proves that God's hand never left you. Think of Hannah, who cried bitterly in the temple, misunderstood even by the priest. Her pain looked like weakness, but in reality, it was birthing a prophetic destiny. Out of her anguish came Samuel, a prophet who would anoint kings. Do you see it? Out of deep sorrow comes a harvest that blesses nations. Your story carries the same principle. What you wept for in private is preparing to speak loudly in the future. There is a reason your seasons have been so intense. It is not because you are cursed. It is because you are chosen to carry a mantle that requires refinement. Diamonds are not shaped in soft places. They are formed under crushing pressure. That is why the hand of God allowed you to endure what others avoided. He knew the weight you could handle. He knew what He placed inside you. Sometimes you may ask, why me? Why is my road so hard? Let me tell you plainly, because your life is not small. Ordinary paths cannot contain extraordinary callings. If your journey felt easy, your destiny would not stretch beyond yourself. But you, chosen one, were never called to live just for yourself. Your story is designed to release freedom to others. I want you to picture this. A candle lit in an open room burns quietly, giving light only to its small space. But take that same candle into complete darkness, and suddenly its flame changes everything. That is you. Your light may seem small to some, but in places of despair, it shifts the entire atmosphere. We find in the book of Nahum, chapter 1, verse 7, "The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble. He knows those who take refuge in him." This verse is not just poetry, it is reality. The one who called you sees you. He knows you. He has been your stronghold through every valley. You did not carry the weight alone. He carried you as you carried it. Now pause. Think of the countless moments you almost gave up. Think of the times when giving in seemed easier than pressing on. And yet, here you are. You did not quit. That is evidence of something unshakable within you. The same spirit that raised Jesus from the dead has been keeping you alive when everything else said you should collapse. Your journey is not wasted. Not a single tear. Not a single sleepless night. Not a single prayer whispered in exhaustion will go unused. Heaven collects them all. They are ingredients in a greater story being written about your life. And when it is revealed, others will stand in awe and say, "Surely the hand of God was upon this one." So here is your moment of response. I invite you now to comment these 3 words: destiny over fear. Why this? Because fear has always tried to silence you. Fear of failure. Fear of rejection. Fear of never being enough. But by declaring these words, you are shifting the authority. You are saying your destiny speaks louder than your fear. You are stepping into alignment with heaven's voice that says, you are marked, you are chosen, and you are unstoppable. This is not just a comment, it is a prophetic declaration that you will not bow to fear, because your destiny is greater, chosen one. Your weight is not punishment, it is proof of purpose. You will rise, and when you do, the world will know that the story was worth every chapter of pain. And let this truth echo inside you. You are not broken, you are becoming whole. You are not forgotten, you are being unveiled. You are not weak, you are carrying divine strength. Every scar you bear will one day shine as proof that grace carried you through. The weight was never meant to crush you, it was meant to crown you. Your light terrifies darkness. This is why your journey has never been simple. Every time you took a step closer to truth, opposition rose like a shadow at your feet. Every time you made progress, resistance appeared from directions you did not expect. The enemy does not fight what does not threaten him. His focus has been on you because your very existence is a disruption to his agenda. You may have wondered why certain people turned against you without cause. Why whispers followed you. Why hostility appeared in rooms where you carried no offense. The reason is not personal, it is spiritual. Darkness senses what human eyes cannot. Demonic forces know the glow that rests upon you. Even if you cannot see it yourself, they react to your presence because the light inside you exposes their schemes. Think of how a single flame in a dark cave unsettles every creature hiding in the shadows. They scatter. They hiss. They cannot stay near it. That flame is you. It is not your own doing. It is the Spirit of God alive within you. That presence cannot be ignored. The atmosphere shifts when you walk into a place, not because of your voice or appearance, but because the light of heaven moves with you. You have already noticed glimpses of this. People have confided in you without knowing why. Strangers have felt peace when they were near you. Environments heavy with despair seemed to lift when you entered. These are not coincidences. They are evidence that you carry something greater than yourself. The light within you testifies silently. And even without words, darkness is confronted. There is a story in the book of Acts where Paul and Silas were thrown into prison, their chains clamped tight, their feet locked in stocks. The atmosphere weighed heavy with hopelessness. Yet at midnight, they prayed and sang hymns. Their voices were not just sound, they were light breaking through the dungeon's darkness. The earth shook. Doors flew open. Chains fell off. Notice this. Their light did not only free themselves, it liberated everyone around them. That is what your presence does. Chosen one. Your life is more disruptive than you realize. Hell has always feared your awakening. If you knew the full weight of the authority within you, you would never doubt again. This is why attacks were sent early. Why discouragement tried to choke your confidence. Why fear whispered constantly. Darkness hoped you would dim yourself. But you cannot. Your light was never designed to be hidden. As the Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 5 declares, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." End of. This is your truth. The battles you face cannot put out the flame that was lit by God Himself. No shadow, no curse. No storm has the authority to extinguish what heaven has kindled. Do you remember how Jesus described His followers? A city on a hill cannot be hidden. He did not say it might shine. He said it cannot be concealed. That is you. You are like a city whose lights cannot be switched off. No matter how thick the night becomes, imagine a lighthouse standing against storm after storm. The winds batter it. Waves crash against its foundation. Yet it remains unmoved. Its beam cuts through fog and chaos to guide ships safely home. That is who you are. A lighthouse for wandering souls. A steady flame in a world drowning in confusion. And because of this, storms rage against you. But the storms cannot extinguish what God Himself has lit. Your presence is a contradiction to the plans of the enemy. Where despair tries to settle, hope rises in you. Where lies spread, truth flows from your spirit. Where fear grips others, courage breathes through your words. Even when you do not feel strong, light radiates from you, simply because of who dwells within you. Understand this. The battles you have faced are not proof of weakness. They are proof of impact. If the enemy invests so much effort to silence you, it is only because he knows the damage your voice will do to his kingdom. Even your silence is dangerous, because your spirit still shines. Do not be surprised when resistance intensifies. The brighter your light grows, the more shadows it exposes. But this is not reason to shrink back. It is reason to stand taller. The prophet Micah once declared, "Though I sit in darkness, the Lord will be my light." That same assurance covers you now, even in your lowest valleys. The light does not fade. The flame may flicker, but it will not be extinguished. Chosen one. Your role is not only to carry light, but to become light itself. You are a walking testimony, a living torch in the hands of God. Wherever you go, darkness has to reckon with the brightness you release. This is your reality, and no force in hell can reverse it. Destiny cannot be denied. No matter how many obstacles have stood in your way, no matter how many voices have spoken against you, the hand of God has already written your story. You may have stumbled, you may have been delayed, but you have not been denied. The anointing over your life is still alive, and the promises spoken long ago are beginning to move into sight. Prophecies do not expire. Words spoken over your childhood. Dreams that visited you in the night. Visions that seemed too big for your reality. They are seeds waiting for their appointed season. You may have thought they were forgotten, but heaven does not forget. What God begins, He finishes. Look back at the battles you've fought. Every attack was not just opposition, it was confirmation. The enemy only invests in what he fears. The more you were pressed, the more certain it became that something precious rests within you. There is a moment in the book of Joshua when the walls of Jericho stood immovable, unshaken by human effort, yet with a shout, with obedience. Those walls collapsed. Your destiny may feel like it is behind walls right now, but those walls are temporary. They are waiting for the divine moment when obedience and faith will bring them down. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 37, verse 4, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." End of. This is not about shallow desires. It is about destiny desires, the things placed within you by God Himself. When you align your heart with His, those deep longings will find their way into reality. Chosen one, hear me clearly. You cannot miss what God has marked for you. No delay, no betrayal. No distraction can erase what He ordained. Your path may twist, but the destination has already been secured. You are like a river, though it bends. It still finds its way to the sea. Now allow me to speak gently to your heart. If these words have touched you, if you feel heaven confirming your identity, I invite you to take one more step, not because you are pressured, but because you are willing. Just as a river nourishes fields, so too does your support nourish the flow of messages like this one. When you like and share this message, you are not just clicking a button, you are extending light into another person's darkness. Subscribing keeps you connected, ensuring that this well of encouragement does not run dry. And if you feel led, consider donating. Not as obligation, not as a price for the message, but as planting a seed. Picture it like placing oil in a lamp. The lamp is already lit, but your oil allows it to shine longer and brighter, reaching further into the night. Think of it as placing a stone into a riverbed. Alone it seems small, but together with others, it shapes the current and strengthens the flow. Your contribution becomes part of a larger movement, one that carries light across nations into lives you may never meet. There is beauty in giving when no one forces you. It becomes worship. It becomes partnership with heaven's work. And I say again, this is not a demand. Whether you choose to donate or not, the message is yours freely. But if your heart stirs, let it be an act of love, a reflection of gratitude, and a declaration that you believe this light must keep shining. Chosen one, destiny cannot be denied. Neither can the ripple effect of your obedience. Your like is not just a like, it is a signal. Your share is not just a share, it is a rope thrown to someone drowning silently. Your subscription is not just a click, it is you saying, I want to stay connected to what lifts my spirit. And your donation is not just money, it is oil in the flame. Remember, nothing here is forced. It is invitation, not condition. You have already been marked by destiny. And that truth stands whether you give or not. Yet when you choose to participate, you don't just receive light, you help carry it. Your life itself is proof that giving is never wasted. Every time you gave love to someone who didn't return it, heaven recorded it. How much more when you give into something that carries eternal value? Chosen one. The flame is already lit inside you. Destiny cannot be denied. And if you choose, you can help ensure that this flame continues to spread, not only within your own life, but far beyond what your eyes can see. The crossroads of obedience. This is where you stand now. Not a physical crossroad, but one that cuts through your spirit. To your left lies comfort, the familiar path where nothing changes. To your right lies surrender, the road of faith that requires your yes, even when you cannot see the destination. Every chosen one faces this moment. Think of Abraham, asked to leave everything familiar and walk into a land God would show him later. Think of Esther, called to risk her life before the king for the sake of her people. Think of Peter, stepping out of the boat when every wave screamed danger. None of them had guarantees. All they had was obedience. You too have reached this point. Heaven has been patient with you. Seasons of delay, cycles of hesitation, warnings whispered into your heart. These were not random. They were God giving you space to prepare your yes. But there comes a time when delay itself becomes disobedience. There comes a time when hesitation turns into rebellion, and the Spirit is saying, that time is now. Your obedience is not just about you. It is about those connected to your destiny. When Moses resisted, an entire nation wandered. When Jonah ran, a whole city nearly perished. Your obedience carries weight for others, not just yourself. The call on your life has ripple effects far beyond your own story. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Haggai. Chapter 1, verse 7. This is what the Lord Almighty says. Give careful thought to your ways. O chosen one. This is your verse for today. Think carefully. Which way will you walk? The path of comfort or the path of obedience? You already know obedience is costly. It asks you to let go of control. It demands you trust the unseen. It may require leaving behind certain relationships, old habits, or even places that no longer fit your destiny. But the cost of disobedience is far greater. The cost is missed purpose, delayed promises, and silence where there should have been songs of victory. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine standing at a train station. The train of destiny has arrived. Doors open wide. You can step in and move toward what you were born for. Or you can stay behind, clinging to the platform of comfort. The train will not wait forever. It will move with or without you. And once it leaves, the regret of staying will weigh heavier than the fear of boarding ever did. This is why heaven is pressing so strongly now. Mercy is generous, but it is not endless. There are moments when opportunity knocks once and never again. The Spirit is whispering, do not let this be that moment. Think of your own life. How many times have you felt the nudge to act, only to delay? How many doors closed because you waited too long? Now, the Lord is inviting you to break the cycle, to choose obedience swiftly, to say yes without hesitation. And here is the truth. Obedience unlocks acceleration. What takes years in human strength can unfold in months when you surrender. Doors swing open, resources appear, and alignment falls into place because heaven responds to obedience. Delay, on the other hand, slows everything. The longer you wait, the heavier the resistance grows. This is not to frighten you, it is to awaken you. The cliff you feel beneath your feet is real. You cannot stand here forever. One step will define your direction, and your spirit already knows which step to take. So here is your moment of response. If these words are resonating deep inside you, type the number 844 the comments. Why this number? Because 8 is the number of new beginnings, and 44 represents firm foundation. Together, 844 declares, I am stepping into a fresh season, building on a foundation that cannot be shaken. Writing it is not superstition, it is a prophetic act. It is saying, I choose the road of obedience. I choose the path that leads to new beginnings and unshakable strength. And each time you write this number, you are not just typing digits, you are making a decision visible. You are declaring that your future matters more than your fear, that your obedience matters more than your comfort. Chosen one. Understand this well. You do not stand at a casual crossroad. You stand at the very edge of purpose. One choice can either accelerate your calling or bury it in delay. But you are not without help. Grace surrounds you. Heaven is ready to partner with your yes. Lift your eyes. The road of obedience is not empty. It is paved with promises. It is marked with miracles. It is filled with provision. And though it is narrow, it leads to life. So today, think carefully about your ways. Do not stand still. Do not turn back. Step forward, even trembling, even unsure. For when your foot touches the path of obedience, the God who called you will walk beside you, and nothing will be able to stop what he has already begun. Heaven's secrets are not given to everyone. They are entrusted, like treasures in a locked chest, to those whom God has marked as his own. Many live their entire lives blind to the mysteries of eternity, satisfied with surface truths, content with shallow answers. But you, chosen one, have always sensed there is more. Since childhood, you have carried questions that others dismissed. Why does the world feel broken? Why do some dreams burn so deeply they refuse to leave? Why do you feel the weight of burdens that don't even belong to you? These questions were not random. They were the fingerprints of heaven stirring your spirit to hunger for deeper revelation. You are not like those who only see what is in front of their eyes. You see between the lines. You hear whispers where others hear silence. That sensitivity is not weakness, it is divine wiring. God has given you access to glimpses others cannot comprehend, because you were never called to live on the surface. According to what is revealed in the first letter to the Corinthians, chapter 2, verse 10, the Spirit searches all things, even the deep things of God. This is your inheritance. You were not designed to stay shallow. You were called into the depths. Think of the ocean. Its surface looks calm, yet beneath lies a vast, unseen world currents. Ethan caverns. Creatures no one has discovered. Only divers, willing to risk the deep, ever encounter those mysteries. In the same way, God has invited you below the surface of ordinary faith. He has chosen you to dive deeper, to behold what others fear, to explore. This is why your life feels different, where others are content with empty entertainment. Your soul longs for truth, where others drown in distractions. Your spirit pulls you towards silence, prayer, and revelation. You are being drawn into the mysteries, not for curiosity, but for purpose. God reveals, so you can carry, and you carry, so you can release. Think of Daniel, taken into exile, yet distinguished by the visions and dreams God trusted him with. While kings trembled, Daniel stood confident because he carried heaven's secrets. Think of John on the island of Patmos, isolated and forgotten, yet entrusted with visions that would echo across centuries in the book of Revelation. Isolation did not silence them, it opened the vault of heaven. In your own journey, the seasons of isolation and silence have not been wasted. They have been classrooms where heaven whispered truths no one else could hear. When you cried out in confusion, the Spirit was shaping your discernment. When you wrestled with questions that had no easy answers, you were learning to listen beyond the noise. Chosen one, the secrets entrusted to you are not toys to be displayed. They are weapons to be wielded. Revelation carries responsibility. To see what others cannot is to be called to stand where others will not. God has shown you glimpses of your future, not so you could boast, but so you could prepare. He has revealed the traps of the enemy, not so you would fear, but so you would conquer. There is beauty in being trusted by God. Think of it. He could have chosen anyone, yet He placed certain burdens and visions into your spirit. He trusted you with mysteries because He knows you will not waste them. This is why the weight feels so heavy at times. Secrets are heavy things. They shape your choices. They refine your focus. They call you higher when you would rather stay low. You may feel misunderstood when you try to explain what God shows you. Others may not grasp the visions or burdens you carry. Do not be discouraged. Not everyone is meant to understand. Some mysteries are meant only for those who have the courage to hold them. You are a royal priesthood, set apart to steward heavenly realities on earth. When others see chaos, you see the promise hidden beneath. This is the gift of the chosen ones. They live in two realms at once, standing on earth, yet seeing with heaven's eyes. The secrets of heaven are not random pieces of knowledge. They are keys to unlock doors in your life and in the lives of others. Keys to break chains, to speak wisdom in moments of confusion, to shift atmospheres with a single word. You have been entrusted with these keys, not because of your perfection, but because of your calling. And so, chosen one, do not despise the depth of what you carry. Do not wish for a lighter burden or a simpler vision. You were trusted with this because you were made for this. The mysteries in your spirit are proof that heaven is close, that God walks with you, and that your life is far greater than the surface-level existence the world tries to sell you. Spiritual warfare is not random. Every battle you faced has been targeted, intentional, designed to discourage you from walking fully into who you are. From the outside, it might look like ordinary struggles, financial hardship, strained relationships, unexplained opposition, but in the unseen realm, it is much more. You have been fighting wars the natural eye cannot see. The very fact that you are here is proof of it. Many times you wondered why the struggle felt heavier for you than for others. Why do storms seem fiercer around your life? Why does opposition follow you even when you are doing good? The reason is simple. You are on the front lines of a divine war. Darkness has detected your assignment. As Jesus declared in Matthew, chapter 11, verse 12, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. This is not chaos, it is reality. To walk in your calling means to live in the tension of a kingdom at war. You were not placed here to drift comfortably, you were called to fight, to endure, and to overcome. Think of Job, blameless in God's eyes. His suffering was not because he sinned, but because he was targeted. The enemy saw his faith as a threat. Storms tore through his life to shake him. Yet, in the end, Job's faith stood, and what was lost was restored. Your life mirrors this. Attacks come not because you are weak, but because you are dangerous to the enemy. The more you press into your calling, the louder resistance becomes. Spiritual warfare surrounds you not to destroy you, but to tempt you to quit before arrival. But notice something. You are still here. The blows that should have finished you did not. The tears did not drown you. The nights of confusion did not silence your faith. If anything, the battles sharpened you. They turned your prayers into weapons, your scars into testimonies, your endurance into unshakable strength. Picture a blacksmith hammering metal over fire. Sparks fly. The strikes are painful, but the result is a weapon that cannot be broken. That is what your battles are doing. The fire has not been sent to destroy you. It has been shaping you into a warrior fit for assignment. Consider the Apostle Paul. Beaten, shipwrecked, imprisoned, betrayed, yet every attack only advanced the gospel further. The chains on his wrists became a platform for letters that would transform generations. In the same way, what was sent to silence, you will amplify your voice. Do not mistake warfare for abandonment. It is evidence of God's hand on your life. The enemy would not target someone who poses no threat. You are like a torch burning in the night, and darkness must try to snuff it out. But the fire you carry was lit by heaven, and no storm can extinguish it. Sometimes the war comes in whispers, voices of doubt, fear, or shame. Other times in sudden storms, loss, betrayal, setbacks. But in both, the strategy is the same: to weary you, distract you, and convince you your calling is too costly. Recognize it. The fight is not against flesh and blood, but unseen powers. And here is the hidden truth. Warfare is not only about what you are fighting against, but about what you are being prepared for. Soldiers do not train for comfort, they train for battle. Your struggles are equipping you with discernment, resilience, and authority. Think about David before Goliath. He fought lions and bears in secret. No one applauded those victories. Yet without them, he would not have stood before the giant. In the same way, the battles you fight now are preparation for greater assignments. Here is the mystery. Warfare reveals who you are. If you were ordinary, you would not face extraordinary battles. The very weight of your warfare is proof of your identity. The resistance you face is not a sign of failure, it is a sign of calling. Do not despise the war. It is painful, yes, but it is prophetic. Each attack declares, you matter. Each storm testifies, you are carrying something that terrifies darkness. And while the war rages, remember this, you are never alone. Armies of heaven stand with you. Angels are assigned to your steps. The Spirit of God dwells within you, strengthening you when your own strength fails. That is why, no matter how fierce the battle, you always rise again. So lift your head. The war is real, but so is the victory. You were not chosen to be crushed, you were chosen to conquer. The crown awaits you. Every trial you have endured, every battle you have fought, every scar you carry has not been wasted. These were not random moments of pain, They were steps in a process, chiseling you, refining you, preparing you for glory. The crown is not handed to those who avoid the fire. It is given to those who endure it and come out stronger. Look at the pattern woven throughout Scripture. Joseph was given a dream of greatness, but spent years in betrayal and prison before he was elevated. David was anointed as king, but still returned to the fields. Still fled from Saul. Still wandered caves before he wore the crown. Even Jesus carried a cross before he wore his crown of victory. Every chosen one is prepared through pressure before they are revealed in power. It was proclaimed in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 8, "There is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day." This promise is not only for Paul, it is for you. It is the assurance that the crown is real. The reward is waiting, and the process has purpose. You may feel weary, as though the refining has lasted too long. You may wonder if the crown will ever come, or if you are destined only for struggle. Hear me, the delay does not cancel the promise. Crowns are not given in haste. They are formed carefully, piece by piece, so that when placed on your head, they fit perfectly. Imagine a jeweler crafting a crown. Every gem must be cut, every metal purified, every angle refined. It is a slow, deliberate process. The crown cannot be rushed, because the value lies in the precision. That is exactly what God has been doing with you. Each trial has been polishing you. Each season has been sharpening you. Each disappointment has been setting another jewel in place. And here is the truth. Your crown is not only about honor, it is about authority. When God crowns you, He entrusts you with influence. Your words will carry weight. Your presence will carry atmosphere. Your life will carry power to shift others toward Him. This is why the refining has been so intense. Crowns are not for decoration. They are for leadership. Think of Esther. She was crowned queen, not simply to enjoy luxury, but to save a nation. Think of Solomon, crowned king to govern with wisdom that would inspire the world. Think of you. Your crown is not merely a sign of survival. It is a sign of purpose. You are being crowned for the sake of those who will find freedom because you carried the weight faithfully. The enemy wants you to despise the process, to quit before the crown is revealed. But quitting now would mean leaving the crown unfinished. You have come too far, endured too much, to walk away at the edge of fulfillment. Your scars are not shameful, they are proof of authenticity. A crown without scars is counterfeit. A testimony without trials has no authority. But your story, marked with battles and victories, has authority written into every line. So stand tall in the refining fire. Keep your eyes lifted, for the crown is closer than you think. Heaven has not forgotten. Your endurance has been seen. Your faith has been recorded. And the day will come when the words resound, "Well done." Now pause. This is your moment to respond. Comment these words, "I will reign." End of 4. Why? Because writing this is not arrogance, it is alignment. It is not pride, it is prophecy. You are not claiming glory for yourself. You are declaring that the refining was worth it, that the pain has a purpose, and that you will not shrink back from the authority God has placed over your life. When you type, "I will reign," you are refusing the lies that said you were too broken, too late, or too weak. You are saying, I will not just survive, I will step into the position heaven prepared for me. It becomes a faith statement, an act of courage, a visible sign that your crown is not only future, it is already forming. Chosen one, lift your head. The refining has meaning. The crown is real. And when it rests upon you, every tear, every battle, every scar will shine as proof that you were chosen to reign. And remember this, crowns are not earned in a single day. They are forged through seasons, through trials, through endurance. Each step of obedience adds weight to your crown. Each moment of faith polishes its shine. Your journey is shaping glory. You were chosen for this generation. That is not a poetic idea, it is truth. Out of all the times in history you could have been born, God placed you here. Now, He set your feet in this moment because there are problems only you can help solve, burdens only you can carry, and light only you can release. Have you noticed how the world feels heavier than before? Nations tremble, hearts grow colder, voices of confusion grow louder. But into this atmosphere, God has released His chosen ones, and you are one of them. Like a torch ignited in a storm, you are meant to shine precisely when the night is darkest, as written in the book of Esther, chapter 4, verse 14. Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this? These words were spoken centuries ago, but they echo into your life today. Just like Esther, you are not here by chance. You were positioned on purpose. Chosen one. Your generation does not need more noise. It needs voices of clarity. It does not need imitation. It needs authenticity. That is why your path has been different. While others lived casually, you were pressed, refined, and trained. You were not meant to drift. You were meant to stand. Picture a violin crafted by the hands of a master. Its wood is stretched, its strings tightened until they almost snap. The process looks harsh, but the result is music so beautiful, it silences a room. That is you. The stretching, the tension, the seasons where it felt like you might break. Those were preparing you to release a sound the world has never heard. And hear me when you step into your calling. It will not be small. You may feel ordinary, but heaven knows otherwise. Your obedience can shift atmospheres. Your words can heal what medicine cannot. Your presence can carry peace into places where nothing else works. This is why the enemy tried so hard to silence you. But here you are, alive, still burning, still chosen. Now let me speak to your heart about partnership. What you are receiving right now is not entertainment. It is nourishment for your soul. And when you share that nourishment, you are feeding others who are starving silently. When you like this message, you are planting lanterns along a dark road. Someone wandering in despair may stumble across what you share and realize they are not alone. When you share this word, it is like passing a torch into another hand. You may never know whose night will be lit by your simple act. But heaven sees the chain of light that begins with you. When you subscribe, you are not just adding your name to a list. You are saying, I want to stay connected to the stream of living water. Subscribing is like setting a well in your backyard. You know that whenever thirst comes, you can draw fresh strength without wandering. And then there is giving. If you feel led to donate, let it never feel like pressure. Giving is not a tax, it is an act of beauty. Think of it like oil poured into a lamp. The lamp is already burning, but your oil helps it shine longer, reaching further into darkness. Or see it as sowing a seed into fertile ground. The seed leaves your hand, but it multiplies beyond what you could do alone. Your donation, no matter the size, is not payment. It is participation. It is you saying, I want to see this flame touch more lives. I want to be part of the story. Heaven is writing here. And if you cannot give, remember this: your presence, your prayers, your engagement are already gifts. Nothing is demanded, but everything freely given is precious. Think of a lighthouse built on the edge of a stormy shore, alone. It seems small compared to the vast ocean, but every ship that sees its beam knows safety. Your partnership through sharing, subscribing, or giving is like strengthening the foundation of that lighthouse so it can keep standing against the waves. And remember this: none of this is forced. Love cannot be forced. Partnership must be free to be beautiful. Whether you choose to engage through a like, a share, a subscription, or a gift, it must come from your heart. That is what makes it sacred. Chosen one, you were born for such a time as this. Your crown is near, your calling alive, your destiny unfolding. And together, we can make sure that the sound of heaven, the voice reminding the chosen ones who they are, continues to reach every ear that needs it. So lift your head. Your generation is waiting. The fire in you was meant to burn now. Here, in this moment of history, and nothing, no darkness, no doubt, no delay can silence the song you were born to release. The wilderness has always been a holy place. It is the space between promise and fulfillment, where every chosen one must walk. To the untrained eye, the wilderness looks like punishment, dry, barren, endless. But in truth, it is preparation. It is the hidden classroom where God strips away what cannot go with you into your next season and strengthens what must endure. Think of Israel, delivered from Egypt by mighty signs and wonders. The Red Sea parted, enemies drowned, freedom secured. Yet the journey did not take them straight to the promised land. They were led into the wilderness, where the old mindset of slavery was confronted and faith had to be forged. The desert was not a detour, it was the design. The voice of God thundered in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 8, verse 2. Remember how the Lord your God led you all the way in the wilderness these 40 years, to humble and test you in order to know what was in your heart. Note, this is the mystery of the wilderness. It reveals what comfort hides. When everything is stripped away, no crowds, no applause, no distractions, what remains in your heart is exposed. And it is in this raw place that God meets you most deeply. Chosen one, you know this path well. You have walked through seasons where prayers seemed unanswered, where doors closed, where silence lingered longer than you thought you could bear. You wondered if heaven forgot your name. Yet even in those moments, the hand of God was guiding you. He was not punishing you. He was preparing you. In the wilderness, you learned resilience, like Elijah under the broom tree. Exhausted and ready to give up, you found unexpected strength in simple provision bread, water, rest. You discovered that God does not always speak through fire or earthquake, but through a gentle whisper that reaches deeper than thunder ever could. You also learned trust. The wilderness has a way of dismantling self-reliance. Just as Israel depended on manna daily, so too did you learn to lean on God's presence one day at a time. He did not give you everything at once, but He gave you enough to keep going. And in that rhythm, your dependence shifted from your own strength to His endless supply. The wilderness is also the place of identity. Jesus Himself was led into the desert before His public ministry. There, the enemy tested Him. If you are the Son of God, notice how every attack was aimed at identity. The same happens with you. In your wilderness seasons, the loudest battles were not external, they were internal. Lies tried to convince you that you were forgotten, unworthy, or abandoned. But each time you resisted, each time you held on to truth, your identity was strengthened. And perhaps most importantly, the wilderness teaches intimacy, stripped of noise. You discovered the sweetness of quiet moments with God. No stage, no crowd, just you and Him. You learned that His presence is enough. You learned to treasure the unseen, to walk by faith and not by sight. These are treasures no one can take from you. Yes, the wilderness is painful. It breaks illusions. It exposes weakness. It demands surrender, but it also forges unshakable faith. Like gold refined in fire, you emerge poder, stronger, ready for the weight of glory that waits ahead. Without the wilderness, the crown would crush you. With it, you are prepared to carry it with humility and strength. Do not despise your wilderness. It is not wasted time, it is holy ground. Every tear you cried there watered seeds of future joy. Every unanswered question carved space for deeper revelation. Every lonely night was an invitation to discover the one who never leaves. Look back now and see. The wilderness did not destroy you. It defined you. It carved courage into your bones. It wrote endurance into your story. It etched eternity into your heart. Chosen one. When the wilderness comes again, and it will, you will not fear it. You will recognize it. You will remember that it is not the end, but the in-between, and you will walk it not with despair, but with quiet confidence, knowing that the same God who met you before will meet you again. For in the wilderness, you are never alone, and in its silence, heaven speaks the loudest. And let this truth stay with you. The wilderness is not your grave, it is your garden. It is not punishment, it is promotion. It is not emptiness, it is the birthplace of destiny. Carry this with you, and you will never see your wilderness the same way again. There is a moment when destiny calls louder than doubt. You have walked through valleys, endured silence, carried burdens that others could not see, and yet here you are, still breathing, still standing, still chosen. This is not coincidence, this is divine orchestration. Every battle has led you here, to the edge of something greater. Chosen one, heaven is inviting you not only to believe, but to act. Faith is never passive. It asks for movement, for response, for a sign that you agree with what God has spoken over you. And today, you are being asked to step into alignment, not with fear, not with delay, but with the future that is already written for you. The ancient words recorded in the book of Joshua, chapter 1, verse 9 declare, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." This is not just encouragement, it is command. It is heaven's decree over your life. Strength is not optional, it is essential. Courage is not for some, it is for you. And the promise is certain. You are never alone. Never abandoned. Never without the presence of the one who called you. But here is the truth. Courage always requires a response. It cannot remain in thought. It must be expressed. That is why today, I am inviting you to make a declaration of alignment. Not for me, not for anyone watching, but for you, for your own spirit, your own destiny, your own agreement with heaven. Type this number in the comments, 4,444. Why this number? Because 4 is the number of stability, of foundation, of completeness in God's design. 4 corners of the earth, 4 winds of heaven, 4 living creatures around the throne. And when you repeat it 4 times, 4,444, you are declaring that your life is not built on shifting sand, but on a foundation, unshakable and eternal. When you write this number, you are saying, I will not be moved by fear. I will not be shaken by delay. I will not be destroyed by opposition. My foundation is firm. My destiny is secure. My God is with me. Oh, understand this. The act of typing 4,444 is not superstition, it is prophecy. It is a visible sign of an invisible reality. It is you partnering with heaven's truth, declaring into the atmosphere that your life is aligned with God's eternal foundation. Think of it like driving a stake into the ground. When storms rage, the stake holds the tent steady. When winds howl, the stake keeps the structure anchored. That number, when written, becomes like that. Stake a marker in your journey that says, I am grounded. I am rooted. I am unshakable. This moment is not small. Do not treat it as casual. Every time you take action in faith, it echoes in eternity. Heaven records it. Hell trembles at it. And your own heart rises with renewed strength because it knows you have chosen agreement with truth over lies. Chosen one. You are not drifting, you are grounded. You are not fragile, you are fortified. You are not overlooked, you are established. The number you write is your amen. Your so be it. Your declaration that you are standing on the rock that cannot fail. So rise with courage. Step into stability. Let the number you type today be more than digits on a screen. Let it be the sound of your soul declaring, I am unshakable. And let me take you deeper. When you write that number, you are not just marking today, you are anchoring tomorrow. You are saying, when storms come, I already chose my stance. When fear knocks, I already built my foundation. When doubt whispers, I already declared my faith. It is a preemptive victory. You decide now, so you will not be shaken later. Think of a tree planted by rivers of water. Its roots grow deep, unseen, yet powerful. Storms bend its branches, but its roots keep it alive. That is what your declaration becomes. Roots, invisible to the eye, yet unshakable in strength. And beyond yourself, your act becomes generational. The stability you choose today becomes the ground your children and those connected to you will stand on. You are not only building for your own life, you are laying foundation for others to walk upon. So let your comment today be more than routine. Let it be covenant. Let it be testimony. Let it be the echo that tells the heavens and the earth, I am built on the rock, and I will not fall. There is a sacred weight that rests upon those who are chosen. It is not a burden in the sense of crushing heaviness, but a mantle, something placed on your shoulders that changes the way you walk through life. You feel it in the way your heart breaks for things others ignore. You notice it when your spirit stirs at injustices others accept as normal. It is the inner pull that reminds you, you are not ordinary. The mantle is not glamorous. At times, it feels like loneliness, like Jeremiah, who carried words so heavy that he wept more than he rejoiced, like Nehemiah, whose heart was pierced by ruins others walked past daily, like Mary, who carried a child no one else could understand. To carry a mantle means to live with weight that few can see and fewer can comprehend. Scripture says in the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 7, "Surely the sovereign Lord does nothing without revealing his plan to his servants, the prophets. And this is why the weight is given to you. God reveals, so that you may carry. He entrusts, so that you may release." The mantle is not for display, it is for stewardship. At times, this mantle feels unfair. Why should you be the one to feel deeply, to wrestle with questions others avoid, to stay awake at night, carrying burdens you cannot explain? Yet this very weight is what distinguishes you. The mantle marks you as set apart, and though it may isolate you from some, it connects you to heaven in a way few ever know. Think of Elijah. Standing on Mount Carmel, he bore the mantle of confrontation, calling down fire. When a nation wavered, it was not easy. He carried the ridicule of kings, the hatred of prophets of Baal, the loneliness of standing, seemingly alone. Yet because he carried that mantle, an entire people turned back to God. Or think of Anna, the prophetess in the temple. She lived in obscurity, fasting and praying for decades. Few knew her name, but heaven did. Her mantle was intercession, hidden yet powerful. When the infant Jesus was brought into the temple, her lifetime of prayers converged in a single moment of recognition. This is the one. Aldi. Mantles are often misunderstood. To outsiders, they look like strange obsessions, unnecessary sacrifices, or misplaced passions. But to those who carry them, they are fire shut up in the bones. You cannot run from them, because they run with you. You cannot silence them, because they speak louder in silence than in words. The mantle shapes your life choices. It draws you away from paths that may look easier but are incompatible with your calling. It refines your relationships, attracting some and repelling others. It filters your opportunities, reminding you that not everything good is for you. Because when you are mantled, you are not free to live casually. This does not mean your life will always feel heavy. There is joy in carrying the mantle. There is a sacred gladness in knowing you are aligned with something greater than yourself, like a torchbearer in a relay. You feel the honor of carrying light, entrusted from generations before you, destined to pass it into hands yet to come. Chosen one. Do not despise your mantle. It explains the pressure, the longing, the isolation you have felt. It explains why you cannot blend in, why compromise burns you more than it satisfies, why silence often feels like disobedience. The mantle is the fingerprint of God on your life, proof that heaven has chosen you as a vessel. Understand also that the mantle is not only about you, it is always for others. Elijah's mantle parted rivers, not just for him, but for Elisha after him. Moses' staff, His mantle of leadership was stretched out, not for his glory, but for a nation's freedom. Your mantle will open doors, break chains, and shift atmospheres, not just in your life, but in lives you may never meet. Do not fear the weight. The God who placed the mantle on you will strengthen your shoulders to carry it. His grace is not partial, it is perfect. And though there will be days when you feel weary, remember this: you were chosen because you are capable, not in yourself, but in Him. So wear your mantle with humility, but also with courage. Let it refine you, but never silence you. For the mantle you carry is the visible sign of an invisible choosing, the mark that heaven has set you apart for such a time as this. And one day, when you look back, you will see that every lonely night, every heavy burden, every misunderstood choice was worth it. Because the mantle you carried was not only for your generation, it was for eternity. Every chosen one will face a moment when the fire comes closer than ever before. Not the gentle flame that warms or comforts, but the consuming fire that tests, purifies, and reveals what cannot be destroyed. This is not a fire of destruction, it is a fire of refinement. Gold cannot remain in raw form if it is to shine. It must be placed in fire, where heat exposes impurities and burns away what is not pure. The process is violent, the melting uncomfortable, but the result is brilliance. In the same way, your life has been through seasons of heat moments when everything seemed to melt, when nothing felt stable, when the intensity was almost unbearable. Yet even in that place, something holy was happening. The prophet Zechariah declared in chapter 13, verse 9, "I will put this third into the fire, and refine them as one refines silver, and test them as gold is tested. They will call upon my name, and I will answer them." This is not a warning, it is a promise. The fire is not meant to consume you, but to reveal you. Chosen one. Look back at your story. Remember the moments when pressure mounted so intensely you thought you would collapse. Remember the nights when tears soaked your pillow, when questions filled your mind, when the silence of God felt deafening. Those were the fires. And though they scorched, they did not destroy you. Instead, they revealed a faith deeper than feelings, a hope stronger than despair, a light that flickered but never went out. Think of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, thrown into the furnace for refusing to bow. The fire was 7 times hotter, so intense it killed the soldiers who carried them in. Yet when the king looked, he saw not 3 men burning, but 4 walking unharmed, the 4th like a son of the gods. The miracle was not the absence of fire, but God's presence inside it. So it is with you. The miracle of your life is not that you avoided fire, but that you walked through it and survived with His presence beside you. The fire has purpose. It strips away attachments that do not belong to your destiny. It exposes motives, reveals authenticity, and teaches you to depend on what cannot be shaken. What emerges from the fire is not weaker, it is indestructible. Sometimes the fire comes as external trials, loss, betrayal, injustice. Other times, it comes as internal struggles, doubt, fear, hidden wounds that rise to the surface. Both burn, both refine, both, when surrendered, leave you clearer, cleaner, and closer to God. Do not despise the fire, for it is in the fire that your true strength is revealed. Just as pottery hardens only after being placed in the kiln, your character, your faith, your resilience are hardened in the fires of testing. Without them, your vessel would remain fragile. With them, you become strong enough to carry the weight of glory ahead. Understand this: the fire is not random. It is orchestrated with precision. God does not allow you to face more than what He has already equipped you to endure. Even in the hottest flames, His hand is steady. His eyes are on you, and His purpose is intact. Chosen one, you may carry scars from the fire, but those scars are not shame. They are proof. Proof that you have walked through what others could not. Proof that what tried to kill you only proved you unbreakable. Proof that your God was faithful, even in the furnace. The fire also makes you a testimony. Others who face their own trials will look at you and see hope. They will say, "If they endured, so can I." Your story becomes a torch in the hands of the weary, a light guiding others through their own flames. There is a holiness to fire-forged people. They walk differently. They speak with a depth others cannot fake. Their faith carries authority because it has been tested. Their joy carries weight because it has been birthed in pain. Their peace is unshakable because it was forged in chaos. That is who you are becoming. So, when the fire comes again, and it will do not run, stand. Trust. Remember that every flame you endure is refining you into the image of the one who walks beside you in the furnace. And when you emerge, the smell of smoke will not cling to you, only the fragrance of glory. Chosen one, do not fear the fire. Embrace it as the sign that you are chosen for more. For in the end, the fire that sought to consume you will be the very fire that crowns you. There is a sound rising in your spirit. It is not the sound of defeat, nor despair, but the steady sound of resilience, the sound of someone who has endured, who has been tested, who has walked through fire and yet still carries a flame. This sound is rare in the world, but heaven hears it clearly. It is the sound of a chosen one refusing to let go of destiny. Your journey has been heavy. You have known silence, storms, and scars. Yet none of these broke you. They shaped you. They carved within you a deeper strength, a sharper vision, a greater compassion for others who suffer silently. You are not here today by chance. You are here because heaven has preserved you for a greater purpose. The Apostle Paul reminds us in his letter to the Romans, chapter 8, verse 18, "I consider that our present sufferings are not worth comparing with the glory that will be revealed in us." This is your truth. Suffering is temporary, but glory is eternal. The battles you faced are not the end of your story. They are the birthplace of glory. And here is where your response becomes holy. Every chosen one must choose how to carry their story. Some bury it. Some let it harden into bitterness. But the true chosen ones turn their scars into seeds. They let their story nourish others. They let their survival become someone else's hope. That is why your actions matter. Now, what you do with this moment determines how far the light will spread. When you like this message, think of it as lighting a candle in a dark cathedral. Alone, it seems small, but together with others, the glow multiplies until the hall shines. When you share these words, imagine it as releasing a dove into the open sky. You may never see where it lands, but someone weary will look up and see hope flutter into their life. That simple action may be the very lifeline another soul desperately needs. When you subscribe, picture yourself planting a tree by a river. The roots grow deep, the branches spread wide, and in time, it offers shade for many. Subscribing is not just staying connected, it is choosing to root yourself in a stream of encouragement that will keep nourishing you when the seasons of life turn dry. And if your heart stirs for more, consider donating. See it not as money leaving your hand. See it as water poured into a well. The well already exists, but your water keeps it overflowing for travelers who pass by thirsty, or see it as bread placed into the hands of the hungry, small in your sight, yet multiplied in heaven's sight until it feeds a multitude. This is not demand, not pressure. True giving cannot be forced. It must flow from love, from freedom, from a desire to see light continue, whether you choose to give or not. The message is still yours. But if you feel the whisper, let your offering become worship. And here is something intimate. Leave a comment below. Write the words, "I still believe." Learn. Why these words? Because they carry weight. They are not casual. They are declaration. To write them is to say, even after the storms, I still believe. Even when silence lingered, I still believe. It is prophecy over your own soul. Chosen one. Understand this. Every action you take, whether a like, a share, a comment, a subscription, or a gift, is not about promoting a message. It is about planting eternity in the hearts of others. It is about saying, this light will not stop with me. It will keep moving. Oh, imagine a chain of torches, passed from one hand to another across generations. Some torches went out, but yours is still burning. And when you act, when you light, when you share, when you root, when you give, you ensure that flame continues in hands you may never meet. And remember this, there is no compulsion here, only invitation. The greatest gifts are never demanded, they are freely chosen. Whatever you choose, know this, you are already chosen, already loved, already carrying a crown unseen. Lift your head. Chosen one. The sound of resilience in your spirit is not fading, it is rising. And as it rises, it calls others to rise with you. Your actions are not insignificant. You are part of a divine symphony, where every note matters, every flame counts, every seed echoes into eternity. So step forward with boldness. Let your light multiply. And know this truth, your flame may feel small, but in God's hands, it becomes a fire that can ignite generations. There are seasons when the chosen ones are hidden, not because they are forgotten, but because they are being prepared. Hiddenness is not punishment, it is protection. A seed buried in the ground looks invisible, but in truth, it is gathering strength to break through the soil at the appointed time. That is your story too. You have known what it feels like to be overlooked, to watch others rise while you remained in the shadows, to give your best and receive little recognition, to feel as though your voice echoed in silence. But chosen ones are often hidden for a season, because what they carry is too precious to be exposed too soon. We are reminded through the writings of David in the Psalms, chapter 31, verse 20, "You hide them in the shelter of your presence, safe from those who conspire against them." David himself knew the power of hiddenness. Anointed as king in his youth, he still returned to the fields, tending sheep, while his brothers stood in the spotlight. His season of hiddenness trained his hands for the sling, his heart for worship, and his spirit for leadership. Without the pasture, he would not have been prepared for the palace. Hiddenness shapes the chosen ones. It teaches humility, because you learn to serve without applause. It builds resilience, because you continue even when no one sees. It refines motives, because you act not for recognition, but out of obedience. Hiddenness strips away the craving for validation and anchors you in identity that does not depend on the crowd. It is in hidden places that intimacy with God deepens. Without the distraction of constant attention, you hear his whispers more clearly. You learn the language of silence, the beauty of solitude, the strength of prayer unseen. In these secret seasons, you discover that God's presence is reward enough. Hiddenness also protects you from premature exposure. Think of Joseph. His dreams revealed a destiny of leadership. But before the fulfillment, he endured years in obscurity, betrayed, enslaved, imprisoned. Each hidden season shielded him, shaping his character so that when promotion came, he could carry it without crumbling. Chosen one, if you are in a season where you feel invisible, do not despise it. Hiddenness does not mean absence. It means preparation. God hides you, not to withhold you, but to preserve you until the right moment. Just as wine is aged in darkness before it is poured, so too is your life being matured in the silence of hidden seasons. The world may not see you yet, but heaven does. Angels witness your perseverance. God delights in your quiet faithfulness. Every prayer whispered in the dark, every act of kindness unrecognized, every tear shed unseen, all of it is written in eternity. Hiddenness is never wasted, and when the time comes, hidden ones are revealed suddenly, like Moses, hidden in the wilderness until the burning bush, like Esther, hidden as an orphan until her moment before the king, like John the Baptist, hidden in the desert until his voice thundered, "Prepare the way of the Lord." End of 6. Your unveiling will not be random. It will be at the precise moment when what you carry is most needed. And when that day arrives, the years of hiddenness will make sense. You will realize they were not wasted. They were the foundation for everything. So if you find yourself unseen, be still. Let the soil cover you a little longer. Trust the process, for the God who planted you knows exactly when you will sprout. No one rushes the seasons of harvest. They arrive by design, and so will your unveiling. Remember, hiddenness is not exile. It is sanctuary. You are not buried to die, you are planted to grow. Chosen one. Let your heart rest in this truth, even in hiddenness. You are seen, even in silence. You are heard, even in shadows. You are held. And when the time comes, the world will see what heaven has always known. You were chosen for such a time as this. And perhaps this is the most beautiful part of hiddenness. It allows God himself to be your audience. Before the applause of men, before the recognition of the world, you have the undivided gaze of heaven. And when he unveils you, it will not be shallow fame, it will be eternal fruit. So wait well, grow deep, trust the unseen hand that hides you for now. For when the season shifts, you will emerge not fragile, but unshakable, not unnoticed, but undeniable, not empty, but overflowing. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when the pieces of the journey begin to fit together. All the nights of questioning, the seasons of silence, the fires endured, and the hidden years start to reveal a larger pattern. What once felt random now looks like design. What once felt wasted now gleams with purpose. You see, God is a master weaver. He threads every joy and sorrow, every triumph and trial, into a tapestry that tells a story far greater than your own. To the human eye, the backside of a tapestry looks messy, knots, tangles, threads crossing without order. But when you turn it around, you see the beauty of the design. That is your life. What felt tangled will reveal itself as intentional art in the hands of the divine, as declared in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 11. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Chosen one. This verse is your assurance. Beauty is not always immediate, but it is inevitable. The story of your life is not unfinished chaos. It is a masterpiece unfolding at the pace of eternity. Think of Joseph, who wept in prison, unsure if his dreams would ever come true. Years later, he stood as governor of Egypt, realizing that every betrayal, every false accusation, every dark night had positioned him to save lives. Think of Ruth, a foreign widow who clung to Naomi and to God, unaware that her faithfulness in obscurity would place her in the lineage of the Messiah. These lives remind us, nothing surrendered to God is wasted. So too with you. The detours were not mistakes, they were training. The delays were not denials, they were protection. The doors that closed did not reject you, they redirected you. Heaven has been orchestrating your story with a precision you may only see fully when you look back years from now. There is also a weight in this realization. You were not chosen only for yourself. Your journey is a seed that will bear fruit in others. Your endurance gives courage to those who are weary. Your scars become maps for those who are lost. Your victories become banners of hope for those still fighting. You are part of a chain, carrying forward light that will not die with you. Chosen one. When you look at your scars, see them differently. They are not signs of weakness, but of survival. They are the proof that the fire could not consume you, that the storm could not drown you, that the darkness could not silence you. They are the markings of a warrior who stood where others fell. Even now, heaven is speaking over you. Your best days are not behind you, they are ahead. You have not missed your destiny, you are walking into it. The wilderness prepared you, the fire refined you, the hiddenness protected you, and now the unveiling begins. It may not come with sudden applause or thunderous recognition. Often, it comes quietly. Like dawn breaking after a long night, the light spreads slowly but surely. And before long, everything is illuminated. That is how your purpose will emerge. Step by step, moment by moment, until you find yourself standing in the fullness of what God always intended. Do not be afraid of what lies ahead. Yes, challenges will come, but so will victories. Yes, enemies may rise, but so will favor. Yes, storms may form, but so will strength. The same God who carried you this far will not abandon you at the threshold of destiny. And when you doubt, remember the story is bigger than you. Every chosen one carries weight for generations. Your obedience will echo long after you are gone. Your faith will ripple into lives you may never meet. That is the legacy of the chosen. They live for eternity, not for applause. So breathe deep, lift your head, let peace settle in your spirit. The weaver has not lost the thread. The author has not abandoned the pen. The gardener has not forgotten the seed. Everything is still in his hands, and his hands are steady. Chosen one, your story is far from over. In truth, it is only beginning. What you carry will outlive you. What you endure will empower others. What you release will bring heaven to earth. And when the final chapter is written, your life will be remembered not for what you survived, but for how you shined. And the world will know you were chosen, appointed, and prepared for such a time as this. Chosen one, you have reached the end of this journey, but truly, it is not an ending. It is a beginning. Every word you carried through these sections has been a mirror reminding you, you are chosen. You are refined. You are prepared. Your crown is near. Your light is alive. And the world is waiting for what only you can release. Now, let me speak to your heart gently. When you like this message, imagine it as lighting a single lantern on a dark road. When you share, you are passing that lantern to another hand, so the path grows brighter for all. When you subscribe, see it as planting roots by living waters, steady, nourished, unshakable through seasons. And if your spirit stirs, when you donate, picture it as sowing seeds into fertile ground. The seed leaves your hand, but multiplies beyond your sight, becoming bread for the hungry, light for the weary. And finally, lift your own voice. Comment your declaration below. It does not have to be long. Even a few words of faith can ignite someone else's courage. Your voice may be the spark that awakens another chosen one. No pressure, no demand, only invitation. Every action is beautiful when it is free. And whether you engage through a like, a share, a subscription, a gift, or simply by being here, know this: heaven already calls you chosen. Walk forward with peace. Burn with the light you carry. The story is not ending, it is unfolding, and the best chapters are still to come.